Back on Get Up, we talked a lot about the Eagles. Well, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. The Giants were great last night. Cam Scatterboot ran it for 98 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jackson Dart threw a touchdown, ran for another. And after the game, the quarterback talked about changing the narrative.
At times, there's some negativity that's surrounding here, and for us, like some of the new guys that are coming here, like we just got here, so we don't feel like we were involved in the past, and we got a lot of winners on this team, and guys who come out every single day and work their ass off to put on a good showing on Sundays, and we do feel like we're a really good team. We have really good players.
Exactly what you want to hear him say. That was a 9-game losing streak against Super Bowl champs that they snapped last time they beat a Super Bowl champ, where they were John Elway's Broncos. In fact, they weren't John Elway's Broncos anymore. It's a whole other story.
They were undefeated.
They were undefeated at the time the Giants beat them. That's
like
right. It was after their first one. So here's, at the risk of an overstatement, I'm going to assess this to John Fink, our coordinating producer, who's a Giant fan, who said to me, Greeny, I am reborn, rejuvenated, I feel alive.
Wow.
Should the New York Giants fans be reacting like Fink to last night's game?
Yes, because what have you had to react like this to? Like the stats they were throwing out last night, first time in 5 years they scored more than 7 points in the first quarter. I mean, this is a team that has been very bad for a very long time. 14 years since they won the Super Bowl. That's a significant chunk of Jackson Dart's life.
That's right.
I mean, like, he does not remember the last time the Giants were very good. So, yes, it's a lot of fun. Look, they lost to the Saints last week. No one else has done that. The schedule is hard. Like, there will be ups and downs. But you come out of last night saying, we've got these guys that are fun, that are good, that are not afraid of the Super Bowl champions, and you can look ahead to the rest of this season and feel like you have something fun to root for, and you can look ahead to future seasons and feel like you have something to build on.
Sometimes when you're young in the NFL, you're just young and dumb, so you don't know what you don't know. And when you watch Scatterboot and you watch Jackson Dart play, they're running into guys, they're not low, they're not getting out of bounds, any of those things. And talking to Brian Daboll last week, we had a production meeting, all he continued to say was, I love these young guys. Said it 5 times with the biggest smile on his face. And last night, we got a chance to see exactly why. Jackson Dart is not going to be pretty. He had fumbles, interceptions a week ago. But then last night, he comes out, he plays poised. The moment isn't too big. He's a leader. When I was at the game last night, there's belief in the stadium for the first time in a long time. When Jackson Dart went in the blue tent, it was just completely quiet. He walks out of the blue tent. Don't know whether he's back or not at this point. The entire stadium erupted because they know how special and how much he means to this organization right now of what he's been able to do in the last 3 weeks.
Harry, you've got tape of Jackson Dart.
Yeah, I'm blown away because he's so cool, calm, and collected. You talk about a guy being poised when he's in the pocket, no matter if it's defender players around him or not. And this first play is 3rd and 8. 3rd and 8 situation. You have all-pro linebacker Zach Bond. He is spying Jackson Dart, so they know that they have to have someone to account for him. Watch how easy it is for him. He's not getting flustered. He's not panicking in the pocket. He's going to step up, force a missed tackle, but watch this dead leg on this all-pro linebacker Zach Bond. Now you had me. Psych. No, you didn't. Touchdown, Jackson Dart. So the next play, we're going to have a 3rd and 8. They're going to send Zach Bond on a blitz. Watch how cool, calm, and collected Jackson Dart is in the pocket with a defender in his face as we let this play run. Great job. They got to 4 strong. Watch how he delivers his football. Let me stay relaxed. Let me stay poised. Now watch the ball placement. Exactly where you want that football to be, to his tight end for a 1st down. Great job by Jackson Dart.
He looks good, and there's no other way to say it.
Yeah.
There is reason. You're right. When you're playing a young player like this, all these young guys, you're going to have bad weeks. You're going to have bad games. If I'm a fan of that team, I'm totally willing to live with that.
Absolutely.
You're giving me hope and things to be excited about, and that, I think, is the right way to feel.
It's positive energy. There has not been any of that around this franchise in so long that you're just looking for something. So, yes, Jackson Dart, if you're gonna fumble, if you're going to make a bad decision, if you're going to take a bad sack, there's a lot of season left. We know that's going to happen. But what he showed last night, I mean, you're a Giants fan. You walk in there, it's like, this place is half Eagles fans again. like I'm so sick of this, right? And John Fink, I'm sure, watching the game the same way, right? Like just something to hold on to and give you that hope and that energy going forward.
The last thing I'll add is we've continued with Brian Dable, and we've questioned his job security. I want to give him and Mike Kafka, the offensive coordinator, a ton of credit because the plan they put together with Jackson Dart, running a lot more two tight end sets, running the ball to Scatterbo, and taking a lot off of his plate and allowing him to play free, they deserve credit for that.
Here's another thing I can tell you, that for fans in Philadelphia, that football game was not even close to the worst thing that happened to you last night. Wake-up call.
Gotta be better.
Throws it to the sideline. Open is Robinson. Down the right sideline. Cuts inside at the 5. In for the touchdown.
Eagles about to be in a 10-point hold to a 1-4 football team. Hurts back. Throws left. Pass intercepted.
We can't keep putting pressure on defense. At some point, we have to carry our own weight.
Scatterbo's third rushing touchdown.
Giants lead at 33-17.
Oh, he does a backflip.
There's always lessons to be learned in these things, and we got to choose to learn from it.
A night that was both startling and fascinating at MetLife. If you're just joining us here, bottom of the hour, get up on ESPN. We're all over the game. So much of this morning. Yesterday, Dan Orlovsky is sitting right here, and he's going to join us live in a half hour. Gave us all something to watch for. He talked about how predictable the Eagles are when they run all of their offense out of the shotgun. So, Cindy, put the numbers up. I was paying close attention to how many plays they took, how many snaps from under center. In total, they took 6 snaps from under center, but we have adjusted that because 4 of them were the tush push. So if you discount those plays, they ran 46 snaps out of the gun and just 2 snaps from under center. So the way I look at it is this, Harry, you're an offensive player, so I want to get your perspective on it. There were 2 reasons why you don't run a more conventional offense or that style of offense, because either you can't do it or you just won't do it. What do you see in why they are so dependent on this one way of running their offense?
So maybe Jalen Hurts is not comfortable doing other things. And that's probably something that they're holding back from stating to the public because it's unconventional in my opinion. And in a league that hires people just to find tendencies of their opponent, you cannot be this predictable. It's hurting the Philadelphia Eagles. This offense is predictable, and it's inexcusable when you have a Dallas Goedert, a A.J. Brown, a Devontae Smith, a Saquon Barkley, and a Jalen Hurts. It should not be this way, but I agree with J-Mac. It might be something behind the scenes that they know that they aren't saying to the public when it comes to their quarterback, Jalen Hurts, and what he doesn't feel comfortable doing from an offensive standpoint.
I will also say this. During the shotgun a ton, yes. But it comes to your execution out of the shotgun. You can still run play action and have the fake be in Saquon Barkley's chest before you pull it. We've seen teams operate. I think to what you're saying, if I'm on defense and I know you're going to be in the shotgun 90% of the time, now I need to dive into it. What are you doing out of the shotgun? Are you not running the ball? I think if they're going to operate that way, you still have to find a way to tie things together within the offense. It's not just the fact that they're losing because they're in the shotgun all the time. It's the offense that they're not executing while being in that formation.
I'm glad you said it that way because that's really the point I'm trying to make. That's not the reason they're losing, but it suggests that there are things that they either can't or won't do. Well, that's what I'm trying to get to the bottom.
Here's another component to it, right? We have to remember, Kevin Patullo is a first-time play caller.
Right.
Yeah. And that's so difficult in itself. And then when you have so many alpha males on offense, but you have to mirror plays together. I just highlighted last week Josh McDaniels and what he's doing in New England and how he's mirroring plays together, but he's a guy who's done it time and time again. That's not Kevin Patullo. So in itself, it's going to be harder for him.
Can I also say this real quick? For the quarterback, if I'm Jalen Hurts, when I'm in the shotgun and I'm faking or whatever I'm doing, I can have my eyes on the defense the entire time.
Right.
And I can see what they're doing. When you're a quarterback and you go under center, we now want to go play action. I now have to turn my entire back to what the defense is doing. So now when I fake and I look back up, if the safety or somebody's in a different spot, it changes so much for the quarterback. So with some of it, it's what is he comfortable with? And that doesn't have to be a negative. It may just be what he's more accustomed, which helps him succeed.
Alex Smith did a great breakdown of that for us on Sunday NFL Countdown early in this season in a different context. It is a different thing. You have to have the entire picture. You have to know where the defense is going to be before the defense goes there to have the confidence to do it. Here, I guess, Dan, let me boil the question down to what I think is its simplest. Jalen Hurts is a very good player. Saquon Barkley is a very good player. Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, the tight ends, the offensive. They have too much talent on offense to be this bad. We showed you the stats earlier. They're not just average. They're a bad offense right now. How do we explain this?
Yeah, I think it's got to be a schematic and strategic explanation because you're right about the talent. They have the talent. We also know that they have the right stuff inside of them. This is a group that has won a championship together. So if you watch the Super Bowl, you would not come away saying, well, Jalen Hurts can't throw. They can't, if they have to lean on Jalen Hurts' arm, they can't win because they can.
Absolutely.
However, is that your offensive identity over a course of a 4 or 5 month season? It doesn't feel like they're comfortable with that. So last year, they had success once Jalen Hurts, to his credit, was willing to sort of diminish himself a little bit and let's lean on the run game and the offensive line and I'll help out when they need me, but right now that's going to be our identity. If that can't be your identity again this year for whatever reason, the line's hurt, the line's not playing as well, whatever it is, teams are onto it, you've got to come up with something else because you have the talent and you have the players you need in order to win a championship. We've seen them do it. The coaching staff has to come up with some solutions.
So can we put C3 up there, Cindy, please? Because I told you Las Vegas is starting to question. You heard Joe Fortenbaugh talking about it before. Their odds plummeting. Going into last night's game, they had top 2 odds to win the Super Bowl, the conference, and the division. After that performance, they've dropped to the 4th best odds to win the conference, 5th best odds to win the Super Bowl, behind the Bills, the Lions, the Packers, and the Chiefs, and it only seems to be heading further in that direction. And it brings us back to a stat that Dan Graziano, for those of you who are regulars on the show, you can say it before he even says it, but what is it we know about the division?
It's been 21 years since it had a repeat champion. And look, something weird always happens. 2 years ago, the Eagles were defending conference champions. It started 10-1, and the Cowboys looked like a mess, and yet somehow in Week 17, the Eagles lose to Arizona. The Cowboys get a huge break against Detroit. What do you know? The Cowboys win the division because they didn't win it the year before. So look, I don't make the rules. Somebody besides the Eagles has to win the NFC. Now, I'm not saying the Eagles can't still win the Super Bowl. Wild card teams have done that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's certainly time. And based on the way they're playing, in spite of their 4-2 record, it's worth asking if somebody else has what it takes to overtake them.
So who is that somebody else? We made picks on the NFC East this year, basing it on the logic that the Eagles cannot possibly win it, and everyone has sort of weighed in on who they see. So, J-Mac, you're the one who is bucking the trend.
Yes.
You say it can still happen. Harry, you say that the Washington Commanders will win the division.
Yeah, I'm going with the Commanders because there are a few things that I look at when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles. Number one, the no identity on offense that really bothers me, but their defense has not played the way it played in 2024. We put a lot of focus on the offense. Defensively, they're 20th in total defense, 26th versus the run, and 23rd on third downs. That's not the all-star defense that we've seen a year ago.
They're relying on a lot of young players in key positions, and it hasn't really worked out. Like Keely Ringo hasn't taken the step that they wanted him to take at that cornerback position. Last night, they're without Jalen Carter, right? And now Quinyon Mitchell gets hurt. All of a sudden, I mean, they're probably your 2 best players on that side of the ball, right? So yeah, Washington has the other problem. They're old on defense, but they'll probably make.
And I'm taking the Cowboys because their offense is really good.
I don't hate that pick.
Well, obviously they figured it out on defense because they looked like the '85 Bears last week against the Jets. So obviously, whatever their problems were on defense, they have those all completely solved. And if they do, then obviously the Cowboys are going to run away and hide with the NFC East. That has me fired up. Let's do a fired up Friday. We'll spend most of our morning on last night's game, but let's race around